Back then to the Dodo stage for an evening, another set of very fine poetry, Agnes Meadows.
This is a love poem. There is that place, just below his ear, at the base of his neck, beneath the hairline, the hair just long enough to curl like a child's fingers onto his waiting skin, calling out for lips to smooth away his desperation. And I'm there to answer that call. There is that place, along the forearm, between wrist and elbow, which begs for the touch of my fingertips, keeping me awake in the long afternoons, with the heat penetrating my skin like warm summer sun on ripe fruit, cherries, peaches, pomegranates. He's a generous lover, who brings me gifts of roses wrapped in vine leaves, red geraniums, honey dripping from the cone. There is that place, at the edge of his mouth, where lips curl into easy laughter, smile an ocean wide, exposing the pleasure of his soul, spent in endless days by seas as vast as turquoise eternity, no one running faster than the racing heartbeat. Lips betraying the ache, the hunger, the hunger. There is that place, at the base of his throat, where the skin sits in simple folds like silk under my hand, deep desire in the undone days. It sings out for my breath, running the tidal dance of things he does not know he wants. Salt rising to the surface, removed by my mouth. Only my mouth. What could be simpler than the solution I offer for this season, for this poor season, not running more than a moonrise, not more than a handful of weeks between peacock pleasure and the first rain of autumn. There is that place under his strong brown fingers, burning an embrace across my aching limbs, feeling the blood dart like a coursing hair across the hollow hills, chasing away betrayal, cut down to the very bone. His hands like a net, catching what cannot be acknowledged in any human heart, transforming it to gold or amethyst or pearls, his refusal better than promises or payment for kindness yet to be given. There is that place, in the turn of his body, imagination runs riot, and I am burned to cinders. Thank you. Wrong book. Patrick will know that I have a love of Cornwall, and I go there quite often. I haven't been for a little while, but I was there a few years back at Christmas time, or just after Christmas in the new year, and it was a really cold day. And I saw on the beach at Sennen, this is what I saw on the beach at Sennen, it's called Boxer Rebellion. This afternoon the beach bristles with weekend folk making a holiday of scant December warmth for an hour or so. Mist, soft serpent coils across the water, dulling surf's rushing whisper as it scrambles to shore. And sky and sand both hold the sharded memory of sunlight, thin and fragile as glass. A woman walks two boxer pups onto the strand. They pull and drag on the leash, straining to confront a growling, muscular sea, windswept and impatient to be off. Wait, she burrs, voice taut with love and pride. Wait, my lovely. Wait, my handsome. Wait. 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 They wait. legs splayed into the sand, noses pebble-dashed with the tiny grains of beach flotsam, tail stubs are ticking like manic clockwork fingers, rumps quivering with anticipation. They wait, panting and coiled with excitement. They wait, 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 until, unleashed at last, two canine arrows darting to the water's edge, tongues flagging the air, legs pistoning paw for paw at equal gait, wheeling and swerving in tandem as if remote controlled from afar, tumbling into the surf together, punching foam and spume with eager paws. But that wintry sea had long forgotten warmth, covering their muzzles with glacial kisses that had them yelping in icicled surprise, slipping and lurching away from such arctic love, breath frozen in instant shock, the water's raw bite halting even their adolescent zeal, abrogating freedom so that they bounced back, tails between their legs, back to their mistress, all chase refrigerated out of them, knocked out in round one by the prize-fighting ocean. Some boxers they turned out to be. And this is if you're anywhere near as old as I am, you will remember a time where there were sparrows in London. Yeah, there aren't anymore. Apparently there's this international prize, this institution, this scientific institution has given this massive cash prize to anybody who can actually find out why, seriously, why the sparrows have disappeared from London. No one has yet claimed this prize. However, I did read in a paper that tin sparrows, or tins of sparrows, were being exported from China to Yorkshire. So it's true, you couldn't make it up. And so I wrote this poem, and it's called Smoked Sparrows. When I was a child, I could wake to a carpet of sparrows, their bracken-feathered wings a rustling, fidgeting forest, bitumen eyes seed pearl bright, their ubiquitous presence an unnotated symphony on the telegraphic high wire. They would pool on branches, jostle for crumbs at the pavement's edge, tamed by plenty, unafraid and swaggering, so prolific you could not count them. This spring, a man told me that in a shop in Barnsley he had seen tins of smoked sparrows on skewers brought all the way from China, a gastronomic delicacy at £5 a tin. I imagined them spitted in their tiny oriental coffins, hearts bamboo-pierced and featherless, their claws folded into permanent oily curls, shoulders echoing the curved hunch of tin can corners, eyes and beaks glued forever shut, songs forever silenced. Gone from London streets a decade or more, they are avian exiles, alien as lyrebirds or budgerigars, their absence an unsolved Cockney mystery. East End children ignorant of the pleasing touch of sparrows' feet on outstretched palms on Sunday's park-filled afternoons, their strident brassy chirrup announcing presence at ankle height. But any day now, I anticipate the McSparrow with fries on the side. Just for Patrick, I'm going to read a couple of my Gaza poems, because I lived in Gaza for a while, and it was an amazing experience. And when I lived in Gaza, I lived right on by the port, overlooking the amazing beach. And this one is called "They're Bombing the Port Again at Gaza." Explosions blossom in the unseen darkness like blooded chrysanthemums of sound. Dogs begin howling, an orchestra of woe. Cockerels roar in pre-dawn confusion. Crickets start to creak in shock. Only the people are silent, too weary even to stir from their beds, accustomed to this lullaby of conflict. It had been an ordinary day. At the Palestine Hotel, I'd seen a wedding and wished it were my own. The bride moved like a clockwork meringue through a gleeful, clapping throng. The groom had a plastic smile hammered to his face, genuine fear turning his features wooden. On the radio, a woman had wept for her imprisoned son. He'd been going to market. Nothing more dangerous than a bag of tomatoes in his hand, but they'd arrested him anyway, something to do to fill the day. Her desperation poured itself onto the airwaves, voice twisting and turning, a knife in a million hearts. Hers is a common tale. Broken hearts are a common currency in Gaza, debased, devalued and worthless on the global market, thousands to a pound or dollar. People with nothing left to give still offered me the gift of welcome, an honourable giving, smiles chasing me down the beachfront through grey belittered squares where despondency squatted like hoary grandfathers shrivelling in the sun, a shimmering mirage like young men's dreams. Clusters of brown-eyed boys followed me along the sandy street shouting, "Hello London," grinning and leaping with pleasure when I replied in Arabic, "Marhaba shabab," half my vocabulary used up in seconds. And at no time during that glow ball juggling day did I feel endangered. That came later, when at 2 a.m, safely tucked up in my bed, they started bombing the port again at Gaza. This is a short one, which is the title of this book, which is what I call this my Palestinian collection, because it's mainly poems about Palestine. It's called At Damascus Gate on Good Friday. This is the Damascus Gate in Jerusalem. Above dam bursts of unruly trade, above scarlet-scented strawberries which ripen afternoon prayers, or apples hard as diamonds fearing the intruding bite, or peaches too young for picking still holding blossom memory, above the anarchy of flies dancing in jagged arabesque, above rosaries of pilgrims chaining back to their invisible saviours, skeins of Ethiopian nuns or Filipino faithful, or pale northern Christians bemused and badly dressed, above all these things there hangs a city where domed chimneys thrust up like old Astarte's breasts, and windows mosaic between unravelling tattered rooftops, half exposing small daily truths, hidden shyly behind grey wooden shutters, watching, unrepentant, a nation being crucified. Thank you. One more, and then I'll sit down and shut up. If you believe that, you believe everything. Okay. This is a bit later, and it's my poem that I wrote for all women of a certain age, and it's called Still. And when I read it, when I finished writing it, I read it to my mum, who's now long dead, and she was 79. She said, "Oh yes, I get that, which I thought was very sweet. Anyway, it's called Still. When I'm older, even older than today, and people tease me for my lack of crimpling suits and iron hair, waiting for that centennial gram to legitimise my life, I'll still want to know everything. I'll still smoke too many cigarettes, have all-night arguments when nobody gives an inch, and the last word is the byword for singularity of conversation. I'll still wear black leather, show my Gothic cleavage bodiced so tight you could see my heart's blood flow, the dark one silvering my mouth with his graciousness, proof positive that all vampires never die, because they have a stake in eternity. I'll still believe that beige should only ever be worn by camels, that pink is for virgins, that anything remotely pastel should be burned in hellfire along with all cookbooks. Yes, burn, Delia, burn. That life really is too short to stuff a mushroom, especially when there's salsa to kick in, red shoes, higher steeples, and I'm feeling keen as a mad dog biting. I'll still flirt outrageously with pretty young men on buses, invite them home sometimes for red wine and breakfast, show them my etchings, Watch them dance naked in moonlight, then demonstrate the right moves, which, like riding a bicycle, a woman never forgets. I'll still get drunk, fall out of telephone boxes, forget my name at parties because of Glenlivet's Highland excess, and I'll still sing rude songs in the street at 3 AM with a rousing chorus that would have everything to do with body parts and midnight fantasies, but nothing whatsoever to do with rugby, football, or any other game which only real men can appreciate. I'll still get turned on by the feel of silk on my skin, leopard-spotted fake fur coats, Mediterranean sun touching me privately, like the lost lover who alone could bring me joy, his kiss a faraway fickle wave rush covering my misfrosted shore, the thought of his face still leaving me heart-scalded, and if I live to be 1,000,000 it will never be finished. I still travel in the desert, see pyramids embroidered on lilac dim horizons, watch the dusk settle like a tired song over the sand dunes of Saqqara, come back from the Taklamakan like a fiery ghost, lose my shirt at Kashgar's Sunday market with the Uyghur women covered in fur and flowers, selling nomad trinkets, watching their men trade horses, shedding crescent moon smiles below Samarkand's blue mottled Registan, and I'll still want the road to be endless. Yeah, when I'm older, even older than today, and people who do not know me think I should be knitting or baking cakes, well, I'll still be laughing with Satan, covering my tracks with the light of heaven, and I'll still want to know everything.
The lesson there is if Agnes invites you round to dinner, bring a takeaway. More applause, please, for Agnes Meadows. So, thank you very much for enjoying our evening of mists and mellow fruitfulness. Before you go, can I just ask you to show your appreciation for the performers?